Hi there, and welcome to LimitLyss, the space where your big dreams meet grounded energy and mastering manifestation becomes your new normal. I'm Alyssa Simpson, mindset and manifestation coach, your unorthodox free spirit, and now your newfound permission slip to do life your way. Here, we break the rules by ditching societal norms of the hustle and grind. We embrace flow, alignment, and the bold decision to follow what lights you the fuck up. In each episode, I'll be sharing soul downloads, mindset shifts, energetic upgrades, and raw, authentic stories to help you unlock your magnetism, collapse timelines, and create a life that feels as good as it looks. So if you're ready to remember who you are, trust your desires, embody your highest self, and manifest from your authentic power, it's time to sit back, relax, and get ready to become limitless. Welcome back to another episode of LimitLyss. You know, for those of you who are listening, or maybe you're watching this, hi, how are you? Do you love my humidity here? I do. I honestly love whenever it's a little wild and crazy. But anyways, I know that you have seen such a evolution of me. I have seen it myself, and I've told you before, like, I don't ever re-listen or re-watch anything I ever post because I don't know, I get in such a flow state whenever I am pouring into the podcast that I don't ever feel a need to go back and listen. It's just kind of like whatever came through me was meant to come through me, and it is what it is. Like, I don't edit stuff, I don't take things out, I don't ever go back and say, let me see how I sounded. But whenever I am putting together, because I got to add my intro, got to add my outro, got to add a little, if I have any kind of plugs that I want you guys to hear or see, I go in and add those, obviously. And my intro and my outro, they are so not aligned for me anymore. So that's my next project, is redoing those, because every time that I think, like, okay, I'm in it, like, this is the new me, right? Like, this is me now, here I am. I've always, and if I'm being totally honest, like, I have felt like maybe not, like, I still feel like there's something else. I still feel like there's another layer to shed. I still feel like there's more of me that I'm not fully expressing, but I don't know what it is yet. Well, welcome. Welcome, 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 because your girl is so solidified in this shit. I can't even begin to tell you. It is Tuesday, and since Saturday, I have been chomping at the bit to sit down and record, to talk to you, to let you in on this little, I'm not going to say final evolution because we are always evolving, but I finally, and y'all are probably like, this girl has said this so many times, but I'm so for real. Like, I'm so for real right now. I finally fucking feel like this is it. What's so interesting too is I feel, and maybe, well, obviously I know I'm wrong because the proof is in the pudding, but I have felt that I have been like my most authentic, lay it all on the table self, but I haven't. I haven't. Not that I'm like holding secrets back, but there is this underlying feeling of, oof, don't say that. That is stuff that you say in private. You do not share that to strangers. You do not tell the masses about this or how you feel or whatever, because this might scare them. This might make them not want to hire you. This might make them hate you. But here's the thing, and I have said this before, there are people that loathe Jesus Christ and love Adolf. There are, and then I'm telling you this just as much as I'm telling myself this, but there is room for your opinions, for your vulnerability, for your ideas and beliefs, because number one, they're not original, okay? They're not. Like, we're all the same consciousness. We all, some way, somehow feel whatever, and we resonate to people that we resonate to, right? Like, there are still people in this world who practice what Hitler was preaching. There are still people in this world who practice what Jesus Christ was preaching, and there's some people that are like, I can't believe that Jesus Christ said that shit. I can't believe that Adolf Hitler said that shit. You know, these are just two very, very vast differences. But the point is, we're not as original as we fear that we are, because there is a fear there. There is a, oh my god, I'm going to get ostracized, oh my god, I'm going to get called out, oh my god, someone's going to come in and attack me. Number one, let them. Who gives a fuck? When people get angry and say shit, it's because they're on projections. You know how many crazy things that we see on the internet, that I see on the internet, that I literally don't bat an eye at, because I'm like, that's weird, but that's their belief, that's their opinion. I don't give a fuck. I am not God. I am not a judge. I don't even want to be on a fucking jury if it ever comes down to it, because I think that whole thing is fucked off. Like, we need people who are like professional jurors to be deciding if something is right or wrong. That, I mean, our whole legal system here in America is so fucked off, in my opinion. Like, it's crazy. It is crazy that it just depends on what kind of a show you put on as a lawyer. Like, if you put on a really great show and people buy into the production that you're selling, you're gonna win, right? Like, it's not even really about the fucking facts in some instances. But holy shit, I could go off and off and off on that. And but the whole point I'm trying to make is, we aren't unique and original in what we think and believe, because there are other people who think and believe the exact same thing, which is why when you water yourself down, you are attracting people who don't really need to be in your space, because you aren't fully expressing yourself. Let's take it off of the internet and bring it into real life. If you have people in your life that you are not your full-fledged freaky self around, you're doing yourself a disservice, because if you're afraid that those people are going to not digest you well or judge you or whatever, that's on them. And you are entertaining something that isn't serving you, because you can't even be yourself. You're wearing a fucking mask, and that shit is uncomfortable, okay? There are people out there who have the same beliefs, the same ideas, the same whatever as you, and because you are afraid to share them, you are hurting the potential relationships that could blossom and bloom into something so beautiful. And being in the online space for the past decade now, honestly, there's always that level of being afraid, but you find people who say the shit that you want to say, and you are envious of them. You're like, God, ugh, I think that same thing. Like, why can't I share it? But then you go to the comment section, you see what people are saying, and of course you're gonna find people in there who are like, "You're wrong. This is crazy." La, la, la. And then that kind of like validates your fear. Like, oh my God, see, there are people that are disagreeing publicly. I don't think I can talk about this. And to share a little story with you, there was a friend of mine who we had been friends for as long as I've known my husband and been with my husband. So what, 11, 12 years. And after Charlie Kirk got assassinated, I posted on my Facebook about it, because it upset me, because people should be allowed to say whatever the fuck they think and feel, whatever the fuck that they believe, regardless if I do or do not agree with it. I believe in the freedom of speech. I believe that you should get up on whatever podium you want to and say whatever the fuck you want without getting shot and killed. Like, let's be so honest right now. And I said that, and this friend decided to light me up on Facebook. And it ended in us not being friends anymore, because number one, you aren't gonna, like, you're someone that knows me and knows my heart, and like, you're taking this and turning it into like this huge political thing. Like, because I posted about that, you're assuming that I am like some like right-winged MAGA hardcore, whatever the fuck you think. And the fact of the matter is that someone was shot and killed because they were speaking their truth, and it resonated for a lot of fucking people, right? And that bothered me. And the fact that this person didn't think that they could, like, I don't know, call me or shoot me a text. They wanted to like publicly try to, like, you know, internet battle with me. And it's like, you are not, like, did you not, like, you, what the fuck is happening, right? And this whole like idea of, oh my gosh, well, maybe I shouldn't have shared that, never crossed my mind. I was excited that, okay, excited is not the word. Let me reverse that real quick. I was happy to be so enlightened that this person was quietly navigating in my life, having really, really wild beliefs that they are allowed to feel and think and share as however they want, but allowed me to see how they really thought and felt and where their heart was. And they were wearing a mask in front of me for all these years. And I was like, I am so glad that I got this information because you do not get access to me or my family, period. You don't. And we should be allowed to have that kind of discourse, right? Like we should be allowed to sever ties with people who don't have the same values and opinions and ethics as us, instead of carrying on this facade that we think and believe the same things, and because we aren't sharing our full authentic self, right? And people will tell you all day long, especially like the older generations, like do not talk about politics, do not talk about religion, because they're going to cause, fallouts. So let them cause fallouts, right? Like if someone is so hardcore tied to a religion or a political party that I can't speak how I truly think and feel, I don't want that person in my life. If you can't allow me to express myself and have a healthy debate, or even like challenge your belief system a little bit, or ask questions, or say out loud that I disagree without you freaking the fuck out, I don't want you in my life. Like I don't want that kind of eggshell relationship in my life. Like I want open and honest discourse. I want open and honest beliefs. I want open and honest, like, hey, this is who I am. And for whatever reason, the feeling of not being able to do that online is weird. It's weird that people feel like, because that's been a true value and core thing of mine, is like, you show me you the second you show me who you are, and I don't feel that it is from a loving and genuine and harmonious place, you do not get access to me, because whatever demons and shit you have going on and you're fighting, I do not have time for that. Like life is too short and I am too grown to be entertaining your unhealed ass, right? Like for real. So it brings me to the evolution of myself for specifically being in my business, because my business is so intimate, right? Like you see people like fucking what Chick-fil-A, they are very clear in their values, and the whole LGBTQ community hates Chick-fil-A, but Chick-fil-A still has a cult-like following, people who love their food, love their service, love the fact that they're closed on Sundays. Like, so the hate that they get doesn't affect their business. And if we all just look at our purpose, right? Because I'm sure the person who created Chick-fil-A, like they had some kind of purpose to feed people chicken, whatever their fucking purpose was, whatever. That was their purpose. My purpose is to truly and honestly lead a movement of women to becoming restfully rich, right? By mastering their mindset and their energetics and their ability to manifest a wildly abundant life restfully. We don't do hustle around here. If you do here, please just sit for a sec, because I'll get into all that momentarily. And when I was looking through the lens of, okay, well, why can't I should be able to share authentically me, my opinions, the conversations that I have with my friends, the conversations that I have with my husband, the conversations that I have with some of my family members who are open to hearing and open to respecting my beliefs. I should be able to have the same kind of unfilteredness online, representing me in my business. Because here's the thing, the clients that I have, the women who pay to be in proximity to me, they hear the shit that I say. They get coached the same, like we have the conversations that I'm having with friends and family and people, whatever, because I don't filter myself with my clients, and they don't get into a container with me and go, holy shit, you're not who I thought you were. They get into a container with me and they're like, this is so refreshing. Thank you. This is so refreshing to be in proximity to someone who's coaching and mentoring me and leading me, but I also know their heart. I'm not putting on a fucking facade where I'm like not dipping my pen in company ink, right? I'm very close with my clients. I'm very close with the women who choose to better themselves, to become restfully rich, because it is an intimate process. I want to feel just as close to them as I want them to feel close to me. So it became this whole like evolution of, well, the women who get in proximity with me and I share with them the things, they're not like all up in arms saying, you're not who I thought you were. So like, why can't I share this shit in my podcast, in my vlogs, in my little Instagram posts, on my Instagram stories, on threads, in my emails, right? If people disagree, there's a quick little button that they can hit where they can get the fuck out of my space. And it opens up the doors for more people to come in who are meant to actually be coached and mentored by me because of me, right? Because I am my business. I am what I am. Like, I am the transformation that I'm selling. I am the transformation that I'm guiding. I am the product that people are getting when they invest in me and my business. I'm not giving them a fucking 12-step program. I'm not giving them this tangible book. I'm not giving them this like secret system that I've built. Like, I'm giving them me. I'm pouring into people. And if I really shed it down to like the fucking foundation of this entire conversation, it's the stupid idea that your vanity metrics equal your success and your abundance. That is such a man-made ass ideology that literally does not translate into the true abundance and the true mission and purpose that you are leading. So, with that being said, if you are on my email list, I've already sent an email out saying, buckle up, babe, because I have got some shit to get off my chest. So that was like the little precursor to what I'm about to dive into. Hey, I'm interrupting our interaction right now to let you know of some new things that have been birthed over the past month. First is my new 30-day guide to becoming restfully rich. It is the Restful Rich identity shift that has got to happen in order to become restfully rich, and it is available for you for only $11. What are you actually waiting for? Get your hands on this. It's going to change your life. It is 30 days of intentional embodiment practices that are going to get you to your restful, rich identity so much more efficiently. The next beautiful, incredible creation that I have birthed for you is my Fall in Love with Your Ordinary Life free guide that you can download today as well. No matter the season that you're in, you are able to step into a completely different identity. And that is why I've created these two incredible new things for you to have, to consume, to implement, and to honestly see your life change from within. So let's get back to it. There's a few topics here that we're going to dive into. This is going to be a little bit of a longer podcast. So if you need to come back to this, please do. If you need to re-listen, please do, because I have a feeling this is going to be an episode that might change your life. Okay. First things first, if you have not already subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do, because every Monday I'm dropping a series called Mic Drop Mondays, and I am dropping mic drop moments. I am sharing the misconceptions that I see in the online space. I'm sharing the downloads that I'm getting. I am sharing the unfiltered, unapologetic stuff there. Sprinkling in a little bit of it here in the podcast, but the podcast is such a different vibe and a different energy. And I know that you're listening and you are in the process of having your own restfully rich transformation, your limitless transformation. And so the conversations that I bring here are a little bit different than the conversations that I have whenever I'm recording vlogs and things like that. So if you want to get even more of me, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Por favor. That's please in Spanish. Okay. So the first thing that I want to share with you, because this really matters. This gives a lot of context to kind of where I'm at now in my metamorphosis, if you will. I have felt shame around my money, but not in the traditional, like, my money isn't good enough, it doesn't provide for me, like, where is money? No, because like I've told you, your girl's rich, your girl's wealthy. Like, I have a multi six-figure portfolio. I always have at least $17,000 in my liquid accounts that I have access to on multiple different cards. The only debt that I have is my home. I paid for my car and my husband's car in cash, in full. There are many different things that I can tell you about my financial situation. That's kind of relevant, but kind of not. But the fact is, I felt this shame because I have never had to struggle. I do not have the rags to riches story that a lot of people who are wealthy have. And no, I wasn't born into wealth. My parents both were blue collar working. My dad was a masonry for a long time. He Okay, he wasn't a masonry. He worked in masonry, which is like concrete and not like construction. It's very specific, like brick. That's masonry. Um, Little fun fact: we lived on 2.5 acres in a little town growing up, and in our very back acre, my dad had tons and tons and tons and tons of pallets of brick and cinder blocks and all this shit that after they passed, I had a friend of ours who literally would drive 2 hours to my parents' house to take a lot of this shit to his property because he lives on 80 acres to build things around his home. Because my dad would just bring home this shit after they finished job sites, and I'm assuming he would have projects for this shit. He also built a above ground tornado shelter for me growing up because I was terrified of storms, and I think that was a fun way for him to like flex his masonry muscle, but also be like, Alyssa, you got to chill the fuck out. Like this thing is gonna withhold an EF5, whatever. EF5, is that what's called? I don't know. The big, crazy, scary, like Moore, Oklahoma tornadoes is what I'm talking about. But so my parents, like, I wasn't born into wealth, right? Like the conversations of money were the same in my household as I'm sure they were for you. Like money doesn't grow on trees. We can't afford that. Blah, 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 blah. My parents argued quite a bit about money. Like my mom worked. My dad would always, talk about how little she was bringing in every month. My mom would hide shopping bags of like if we would go to Kohl's or if we would go to JC or we'd go to the mall, we would hide our shopping bags in the trunk and slowly bring the clothes back out. If we ate at a restaurant, she would pay cash instead of on the card so he like couldn't see. It was like a whole thing, right? So no, I don't have the rags to riches story, but I also don't have the trust fund baby story either. I did actually create my own trust fund, so go me. Hats off to me. I am my own trust fund baby, but that's for a totally different story. And that used to bring shame around me. I remember I was in a coaching container and it was a group coaching container and we were like sharing our money wounds or whatever. And I like piped up and I was like, all the money that I have, I didn't generate it from working. I didn't generate it from my business. And I was expecting, some kind of like coaching around it or like, that's a limiting belief. Let's heal past this. But instead it was like, you shouldn't be ashamed of that. Like, that's a beautiful thing. And like, okay, cool. Like, I know that, but like, how, like, what is this thing that I'm carrying? Like, why do I feel that? Like, what is going on? And it's because I felt that I didn't have that dog in me to coach others on generating wealth because I never generated in the traditional trading my time for money story that we're told, right? And I also didn't come from fucking not knowing if I could pay my electricity bill. I've always lived in overflow. I've always gotten what I wanted. I have never not had what I want. I've never gone without. My husband even has this joke where he's like, you don't know the word no. And it's true because I will like ask him of something and if he tells me no, I'm like, okay, let me ask it different. And I will, like, I'll ask it like 6 different ways. And then finally he's like, okay, like whatever, like, yes, oh my God, fine. And it's funny now with our son, he's like, I wonder if he's going to, be relentless as you are, or if he's going to be more like, fine, it is what it is. And I was like, hey, whatever is going to serve him best in his life, let him have it because it has served me well to not take no for an answer. And it's not like I'm like beating someone down until I get what it is I desire, but I am also very much so like I know what I want, I know what I deserve, I know what I'm capable of, and I'm going to get it one way or another. You can either help me or you can get out of my way and like just let me, like step aside, I've got this. And so, I hope that kind of gives a little bit of a backstory for you, just a little smidge, a little dive into. And it boiled down to, okay, I told y'all in all of 2025, didn't sign a single new client. And I was also like really feeling a type of way about that too. I was like, how is it that I have still lived in overflow, lived in absolute abundance without generating any new income in my business for an entire year? Right? Because my all of 2025, your girl was just figuring out the new part of me that is a mom, that is a mompreneur, as they like to say, how can I be present with my son and also have a business and lead this movement and pour into others with my medicine that is Restfully Rich? And that is how Restfully Rich was born. Because I sat down and I really got clear on like, how the fuck have I done this? How have I made this happen? And I was like, oh my God, like this is it. This is it. Like this is what I am meant to be guiding and coaching and mentoring and leading a movement on, not how to teach people how to manifest, because you're all manifestors. Like we can all manifest whatever it is we want. And if you're listening to this and you're like, well, my life is shit, how did I manifest this? You did. I talk about that at nauseum on one of the podcasts. It's even called like You Manifest. I don't remember what it's called, but anyways, I like it's not to teach you how to manifest. You know how to manifest. Maybe unconsciously, consciously, whatever, but it's I am meant to guide and lead women back to their natural state of literally your feminine energy is meant to receive while resting. And I don't know how any more like blatantly and honestly I can say that. Your your way to receive is to rest. And I'm teaching you the foundation of that inside of Restfully Rich. And so all of this came to a head and I was like, oh my God, I have got to teach this, coach this, guide this, because this has been my entire life. Like this has been this is who I am, right? Like this is my medicine, this is my power, this is what I'm here to teach and guide others on. And so having that aha moment was one thing, but like where is this shame coming from? Like why don't I feel as good enough or as deserving of this life because I don't have the oh man, I worked my ass off to get there. No, I just mastered, and I have been a student of mindset and manifestation for decades, dude. Like 13-year-old me was at Barnes and Noble in the New Age section reading, The Emotion Machine, reading all of these books, The Power of Now, reading anything Eckhart Tolle I could get my hands on. Like I was consuming from the teachers who have come before me, and I implemented it as a young teenager. I was implementing this stuff, thinking that the whole world had access to this, and that's how everyone was just living. And I was late to the game, but then you grow up, you blah blah blah. And I wanted to teach others that. I wanted to teach it, and I thought, okay, I could do like psychiatry, or I could be a therapist. And then opening up that wormhole of like really being in a box of what you can do as a therapist and as a psychiatrist. Like you really can't go outside of this federal like documented thing. And I am so anti-authority that I was like, there's no fucking way that I could feel like I'm actually making a difference in someone's life if I'm having to follow and fill out paperwork, right? Like absolutely not. So then I went into hospitality, right, which is the next best thing. And I became a manager for Olive Garden, which is a multi-billion-dollar company at the ripe age. I had just turned 21. That does not happen. Like they do not hand over the keys to a multi-billion-dollar company to young adults. I was the youngest manager out of the entire division. That was like 9 restaurants that like my director had, and I was the youngest one out of all 9 that he had in the DFW Metroplex. And I felt it. I felt it every day that people thought that I didn't know, like, how did this girl get here, right? Like, who did she sleep with to get here was a lot of the conversation, because I'm a beautiful young girl and I got hired and promoted from a young age. So of course that's the fucking stigma. But I proved like I'm very capable and able to be here just like the rest of you. And I did so many incredible things with that company while I was there. And that was just one instance. I wanted to become a manager, set my mind to it, and it happened, right? I wanted to build a business and I did. And I like all of these things, right? But I generate and receive more money, more abundance outside of my business than I do in my business. And that's not a coincidence, right? And it's not because I'm lucky. It's not because I learned some secret strategy. It is literally because I am the embodiment of Restfully Rich, which is exactly what I teach inside of that container. And the shame around that came from the whole online, like a lot of the coaches that we see online who are in the mindset and manifestation world. Let's talk about Catherine Zenkina, for example, the manifestation babe. She has the story of living on her grandmother's couch and not knowing, like, all this bullshit of like rags to riches, being at the lowest of the low, not having money, blah, blah. I don't resonate with that because it's never been my life. It's always been overflow. It's always been abundant. It has always been, I'm well taken care of, always. And it's because I am so ambitious. I am so bullheaded. I am so high achieving, but I don't do it in a way that burns me out. Even though mentors and coaches and friends and family have told me that that is what I should be doing, right? Like, Alyssa, you're so ambitious. You have so much, like, you got that dog in you, like you can really be generating even more if you just try harder, work hard. And I'm not, like, my DNA, my genetic makeup, my energy is not meant, even if I tried, right? Which I have done for the past, I don't know, 6 years. I have tried. Maybe if I work harder, maybe if I put in more hours, maybe if I tweak and twist and apply these strategies and learn a new strategy and implement, it'll do something. And it hasn't. So me working backwards, and y'all have been here for a while. I've said so many times, like, it's Instagram. Instagram's the problem because I'm sitting here. No, it's how I'm operating under this entire umbrella of being a business owner. I'm trying to do things the way that others are telling me how to do, and it's not working, right? Again, still very abundant, still very rich, still very wealthy, but my business isn't quite there yet on the on paper as like financially successful, right? And this year it is going to be that way. It's already, like, we've already completely surpassed what we did in all of 2025, and we are in April. I'm recording this in April. This episode's going to come out in May, but whatever. So we've already surpassed that. We've already shown that we can do it because we are leaning more into the restful rich. We are leaning more into if I apply how I do things in life to my business and stop trying to push harder, work harder, burn myself out, do more in my business, apply how I live my life in my business, and it's going to work out well. I don't need to do all this other shit that people are telling me to do. And literally applying it and literally seeing incredible, amazing, abundant results from it. And I'm not doing anything different. I'm literally just taking the same energy that I have in my everyday life and applying it to my business. And one of those things is being more authentic, being more unapologetic, being less shameful for my own story, because it's not shameful that I don't have a rags to riches story. It's not shameful that I believe that women are not equal to men. That's another thing we're going to get into. It is not anything that I need to be hiding behind, that any of the beliefs and things that I have. And so with this newfound aha, if you will, sharing this and bringing it to people and allowing myself to be more visible, to be more vulnerable, to let people see me, which is a big part of this, because in the day to day, every day, I let people see me. I am very much so like, hi, here I am, take it or leave it. But there's like this weird filter that has been on for like my business in the online space, which it's gone. We're done. I'm going to let the chips fall wherever they fall, because the worst thing that can happen is what I release all these people who are in my space who really have no business being here. Great. Please leave sooner. Leave yesterday. You know what I mean? Make room for the people who are meant to be here with me, who are meant to be guided and mentored by me. I don't need all these lack ass mindset people hovering around, because that energy isn't what I'm trying to do here. Okay. So there's that piece. The second piece here, and here's the thing, dude. You get little winks from the universe whenever you put your money where your mouth is. Because I felt this and I was like, okay, let me talk about it. Let me just outwardly talk about the shame that I felt around this. I posted it on Instagram and my YouTube channel, a little video of me talking about this, like very condensed, and it has been the best performing piece of content that I've created probably all of 2026. And it was me. I was literally cutting sweet potatoes, prepping food for my son, and talking about this. And it's just it's a again, it's a little wink from the universe being like, this is it, Alyssa. Like, share more of this, talk more about this. This is what resonates. And I'm not trying to go viral. I'm not trying to have any of that happen. What I am absolutely committed to is sharing more of my truth, more of my unfiltered thoughts, because who it resonates for, those are my people. The people who see that and go, holy shit, that's me. Oh my God, like this is it. That's who we're doing this for all along, y'all. Like that is the whole point. And there is frustration in my voice because it's like, Jesus Christ, like why did it take this long? And here we go, time is so irrelevant, but why did it take this many months, years, days, whatever, to get to this realization? And if I'm honest with myself, Alyssa, even a year ago, 2 years ago, wasn't ready to be fully seen. She wasn't ready to be fully visible. She wasn't ready to talk about this. And I've also shared this before, but there was a huge, huge healing and awakening that happened after I had my son in for myself in myself. Like I don't even know who that version of me is. I don't know her, the one before motherhood, because now I am so, and it's honestly because I just something happens. And if you are a mom and you're listening to this and you've, had children, like you know something happens when that child comes out of you. Like there's this weird it honestly felt like I don't remember a whole lot, because our minds and bodies are designed to not really remember like the process. But what I do remember is the overwhelming feeling of like death whenever he came out of me. And I couldn't, like, the unbearable, like ugly, can't catch my breath crying was happening. And it wasn't like, oh my gosh, it was like, holy shit, like this is like what is happening to me. And that version of me died in that room for real. And a new version of me was birthed alongside when I had my son. And I know for a fact that this version of me now, she would not make it, is what I'm gonna say. That's not the word I want to use, but like that's what's coming to mind, because she wasn't ready. She didn't have the new awareness, the new energy to her like I do now. And that's true for everyone in every stage of life. Like if you look at where you are now versus where you were a year ago, 2 years ago, you know that the version of you now couldn't do what the version of you back then did. It's true. Like that's the part of our evolution, as the human form, the human spirit. And so all that to say, I am committed to living even more unapologetic than I was before. That is why I'm saying like this when I listened to the intro, this, and I've heard the intro so many times to my podcast, right? Heard it so many times because whenever I add it to my videos, and add it to my audios and put the exit intro, like I hear it, right? But when I heard it today, I was like, oh, bleh, this is not me. Like this is like soft girl, like, oh my God, the ethers. And like that is a part of me, but that is so much like a showmanship thing. Like, look at me. I'm very like I know what I'm talking about. Listen to how I speak. Like, okay, cool. Cool. If I'm being so for real like that, the spiritual and emotional intelligence in me does not need to like show that to others. Like you feel it when you're in me. Like you feel it when you're around me. You feel it when you listen to me. You feel it when you're getting mentored and coached by me. I don't need to like say that I'm that. So stay tuned. The next episode that you listen to will have a new and improved, very me intro and outro. So I'm so excited for you to hear it. I already have the script written. I just got to record it. But this was way more important to record and get out there. So here we are. Okay. The second piece that I want to talk about is this is for all of my high achieving, ambitious, bullheaded women. We are not equal to men. Stop letting feminism tell you that you are, tell you that you should be, tell you that you should be fighting for your right to be equal to men. We are built differently. There is no coincidence that women are more depressed, more infertile, more overweight, more chronically ill, more stressed right now in time than they've ever been in the history of women, because we are so out of alignment, and it's all under the guise of feminism. Men have their strengths. Women have their strengths. Men are not equal to women. Women are not equal to men. And if we are so honest about that and we live in that truth, we get balance. One thing that I do inside of Restfully Rich is I am showing women how to step back into their feminine energy. Because here's the thing, too, and maybe I'm alone in this. I don't think I am, though. I always thought that feminism, because the way that it's presented to us, meant like being in your most feminine energy, right? No, it's not. It's not. Surprise. Spoiler alert, it is not. Because feminists are very much shouting, not saying, they're shouting that they deserve everything that men deserve, that they should be CEOs like men are CEOs, that they should be whatever, right? Like whatever the fuck. There's like a whole thing. But our straight up DNA, our genetics, our energy is so different than men. Yes, I believe that women should be allowed to work. Yes, I believe that women should be allowed to vote, to drive, to do all the fucking things, but we have got to stop acting and doing like men. I work, right? I drive. I don't vote, but I have the right to. And here's the thing, it's like the small percentage of men that aren't great. There's also women in the world that aren't great too. So the idea that feminists are selling us that like fuck the patriarchy is the problem, and fucking toxic masculinity, blah, 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 that is what is wrong with so many people. As someone who's raising a man, I'm raising, I have a boy, I have a son. He was born a boy, born a son. I'm raising him to be a man. My husband is raising him to be a man. And again, having him showed me even more how important it is to let him thrive in that masculine energy and to be unapologetic for being a man. You want to talk about, people hating you for the color of your skin or your gender. I personally believe that like white men are the ones who get the most shit these days. And it's true. It's fucking true, right? And it's bullshit, because why is everything else allowed to be spewed hate on, right? Like we can hate racists, we can hate misogynists, we can hate narcissists, but we're not allowed to say that the people spewing hate onto someone for being a white male is wrong. What the fuck is going on? How does that make any sense? And as someone who's raising a white male, I want him to be proud of who he is. I don't want society to tell him that he's wrong for being the gender and the skin color that he is, right? Like that's so fucked off. And I honestly really didn't care about this a whole lot. I knew, like, I've always thought, like, not always, I take that back, because I am someone who drank the feminist Kool-Aid hardcore, so much so that I was like, no man's ever gonna tell me what to, like, all of the things. Like, I'm never going to not know or like have my husband's name on any of my stuff. I'm gonna have my own stuff all the time. So if he ever does something to me or shows his true man colors, I'm out of here. He can't do anything. That is so, how wrong is that? Just speaking personally right now, my husband has never done anything to warrant that kind of ideology on him, but I still carried it, not because of him, but because of like the idea that I'm sold that men are the problem, that men are the issue, that women are superior, that women deserve to be equal, that like, holy shit, that is so crazy. And it feels really uncomfortable to say out loud, because I know there's going to be women that hear this and go, wow, how that is wrong, Alyssa, you're what's wrong. Good. Good. If you think I'm wrong, please leave. Please leave. Please. We are meant to, and here's a scientifically backed truth here. We operate on a lunar cycle, a 28-day cycle, which is why there are some weeks pretty consistently where you do not feel your best. That is not anything that's wrong with you. That is literally your design as a woman. But instead of like accepting it, leaning into it, kind of building a life around that that supports that, you are fighting against it under the sake of what? Or for the sake of what? Being just as great as men. You are great. Men are great. Accept that fact, number one. Number two, when you operate like a man, you're going to burn out so fast and so hard. And sure, we can sit here and talk about, there's a book, it's called The Language of Betterarchy. You should read it. It talks about how if we were to switch from a patriarchy to a matriarchy, then it would be men who are having a hard time, who are out of balance, who are not thriving, right? So it's not that we need to switch anything on its head. It's that we all need to learn how to operate in our natural energy. Okay. Being able to operate from your feminine energy isn't something that is super, like we don't really have a whole lot of like, how do I do that? Right? Like where are my teachings of that? Which is another reason why I created Restfully Rich, because literally women are meant to receive from rest. This is why we see a lot of women online saying rest is productive. Like a part of your productivity is to rest. That is so true. Men also need rest, but their rest happens overnight when they sleep. They rise with the sun and fall with the sun. That is how their energy is meant. That is how their energy is designed, right? So yes, we do live in a society that caters to that energy, but that does not mean that you cannot operate from your energy successfully. And this is what I'm teaching inside of Restfully Rich. If you haven't already, there is an $11 guide that I created that is a 30-day identity shift to becoming Restfully Rich. And I teach you something every day to implement, to apply. Because here's the thing, action is a part of this. Like you can't just think, I want to be restfully rich. I want to be my feminine. And then it happened. Like you've got to like have action behind it. It's kind of how the subconscious mind works. The subconscious mind needs physical proof of the action piece for the embodiment piece to really click. And so I created a simple little guide. It's $11. Snag it, please. It's in the show notes below. If you're looking for a way to kickstart your journey into becoming restfully rich. If any of this resonated, if any of this hit home for you, please share this episode. That means more to me than you hopping into one of my containers, because this message is meant for the powerhouse women, for the overachieving women, for the women who know, I don't think I can operate like this for the rest of my life. You're not meant to. You are literally not meant to. And it's not a design flaw, right? Like we were created by source, by God, by the universe to operate from our feminine. When you don't operate from your feminine, total disarray is what happens. So sure, we see women all the time build these empires, work so hard, outwork men, whatever the thing is. We see it all the time. But do we see it as something that is sustainable? And the reason that we don't see it as something as sustainable is because it's not. And that's okay. That's the whole point. Your body fighting you, your body feeling burnout, your body feeling resistance, you getting chronically ill, you having some type of PCOS, ovarian cyst, whatever thing. It's not a coincidence. That's literally your body trying to tell you that you are operating out of alignment. And there are so many women that I know personally that have a beautiful mission and a medicine that they need to bring to the earth. And they're trying to do it, but they're doing it from a masculine ass energy. And that masculine energy, you can get there. You can get there. You can build that empire that pours that medicine into people's mouths, but it's not going to be something that is sustainable. Please. For our collective consciousness, for generations to come, I need you to learn how to become restfully rich so that you can keep your medicine sustainable, because that is the whole point. You didn't come here to burn out
and be back to square one after a decade of really awesome money success wins. At what cost? How is your marriage? How is your health? How is your relationship to your friends, your family, your children? Your relationship to you? At what cost are you going to keep operating at this masculine level? Because I'm telling you right now, I have never had more white space in my calendar, more money in my bank account, more love in my heart, and more health overall than I do right now. And I have never been so restfully rich. It's always been a part of me. I've always done it. But like this level of it is so much different than it was 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 10 years ago. Because I've mastered it and I've really had the moment of like, this is how, this is what it is. Let me show others. That's my medicine. So please, if this resonated, if this hit home for you, if you felt this in your soul, share this episode far and wide. Let other women in on this, because this is how we change the trajectory. Okay? I love you. I'm so glad you're here. I'm so thankful for you. You're who I'm doing this for, honestly. And I'll see you next week. Bye.
I'm so grateful that you tuned in today. If this episode activated something in you, share it with a bestie who's also ready to become limitless. And don't forget to leave a review to help more people find this space. Wanting more? Get on my email list and subscribe to my YouTube channel for exclusive downloads, mindset shifts, and behind-the-scenes magic that I only share there. The link is in the show notes. Until next time, keep trusting the pull, honoring your energy, and manifesting your most abundant life.